Ersatz is a 22-minute surreal horror indie animated series set in an endless war. When an unnamed amnesiac wakes up in a bunker, he is immediately sent to the trenches, where bizarre, physically deformed soldiers fight alongside him. Pilot. The Crown's army holds its southern front by deploying countless soldiers who fight their way through mud, barbed wire, and constant artillery fire. This war of attrition is supported by a network of tunnels and bunkers where disease is rampant and the stench of death hangs heavy in the air. Ersatz follows the perspective of Lampade, a naive soldier who has just been transferred to the 7th Halting Infantry Brigade. The symbolism of the names. Ersatz, a German word meaning replacement or spare part. It is generally used for inferior products that replace the original. In the series, the soldiers are Ersatzmenschen, cheap and disposable versions of real humans. Characters. Lampade, an unnamed soldier in the Kronar army and protagonist of Ersatz, a frightened amnesiac. He has no idea who he is or why he is here, but is expected to conform like everyone else. Carrie. Carrie is a soldier in the Kronar army who is reckless, vulgar, and prone to long digressions. Strangely enough, he feels comfortable in this hellish profession, rarely has patience with new recruits, and doesn't seem to care what happens to them. Voiced by Luke Alfonso. Warwick. Over the course of his service, Corporal Warwick's gas mask has gradually fused with his skin, but such a condition is not unusual for the average contaminated individual. Nevertheless, Warwick is as laissez-faire as a man in his position can be. As long as everything runs smoothly, he knows not to stick his mask where it doesn't belong. Voiced by Ian Russell. Monroe. Transferred from the Northern Front, Monroe isn't quite as jaded as the others, but like them, he keeps his head down and does his job. Yet behind his reserved, stoic sadness, it seems he has seen something he shouldn't have. Voiced by Patrick Langner. Roosters. The ceremonial guards of the Kronar army, called roosters by the soldiers. Dressed like the prince of their brigade, halting, they guard the army's most important fortresses. The ascetic, a mysterious character who asks the protagonist for bread and offers him knowledge in return. He hints that the protagonist's mind is not blocked by physical trauma, but by guilt for what we have done to others. The nurse in the cult of machine. She asks if the protagonist felt something motherly or belonging towards a revival machine. This suggests that the machine may have its own consciousness. Geography of the conflict. The Southern Front versus the Northern Front. The Northern Front, referred to by Monroe as a place where there are no jokes and rest is almost non-existent. It appears to be a much more intense or technologically terrifying war zone than the one the veterans come from. The Southern Front, where the pilot takes place, described as a place of rough awakenings. This is where new assemblies, like the protagonist, are tested before being sent to more critical areas. Hollows, resurrection, and reser, reanimation fluid. The cleaning process. There's a specialized team, the night crew, that processes the corpses in the trenches. They sort the remains by color. Clothing in blue, bones in yellow, and brains in red. The night crew strips the dead of any traces of buttons, belts, skin, and other items so that the base material is pure for the next reanimation. The price of life. Reser not only reanimates the body, but also acts as a biological glue. In the pilot, Monroe mentions that fog, mental fog, or death is a common side effect. The more times a soldier dies, the more reser there is in their system. Resurrection is not perfect. Soldiers in this world die and are constantly brought back to life using a chemical compound called reser. However, each time someone returns, they may lose parts of their memory or humanity, becoming what are known as hollows, although in the pilot they are simply referred to as recycled soldiers. The patchwork body. The protagonist is the ultimate example of this. Monroe admits, "You have parts of him." This implies that in the world of Ersatz, individuality is irrelevant. If an arm works and the torso is intact, they are sewn together and injected with a compound to create a new product of war. The Cohen Tobacco Corporation and Lotus, the biological mask. Beyond the Lotus mask. The short film Lotus, reveals that the war is being driven by biotech corporations. It is not an object, it is a living being. The gel for Lotus is an organic gas mask developed by Cohen Tobacco. It is body temperature, 37 Celsius, and cartilage that looks like ribs. Symbiosis. When worn, the mask acclimates to the wearer and begins to breathe at the same time as them. Feeding. In order to function and protect the soldier, it must be fed glucose, starch, and water every 15 days. If its pulse cannot be felt, the soldier is not protected. Metabolism. It is capable of metabolizing irritants, such as mustard gas or chlorine, growing to absorb new chemical threats. Upcoming confirmed projects. Stretch goals. Thanks to the success of crowdfunding campaign, Saint is working on 2 short films that will expand the lore. Trench Dogs. This film will explore the use of animals in this biopunk world. It is speculated that, like soldiers, these animals could be assemblages of different creatures in order to survive the toxic environment. Canary. In ancient mines, canaries detected gas. In Ersatz, we are likely to see soldiers or devices specialized in detecting the new metabolic chemical clouds produced by corporations such as Cohen Tobacco. The animation process behind the scenes. Blender EV as the rendering engine. Unlike many studios that use cycles for realism, Saint uses EV because it allows for a faster workflow in a dirty, stylized visual style reminiscent of PS2, PS3 era video games, but with modern lighting effects. Solo animation. Saint animated the entire 26-minute pilot individually over the course of 18 months. This is a feat in independent animation, considering the complexity of the trench environments. Sound and music, the creative team. Although Saint works alone, he has a professional audio team to create the atmosphere. SH1KHAR and Maycall Bondinelli. They are the composers of the industrial and oppressive music you hear. Sound design, Solian Falk and the Mars Worm. The sound of the Lotus mask breathing and metal creaking in the trenches was designed to generate sensory anxiety. Social media information. Inspiration. On his Tumblr, Saint often explores themes of body horror and dehumanization in war contexts. Support. The project is completely independent, funded through Kickstarter, Patreon, and Ko-Fi, allowing creative freedom for these dark themes.